discussion does now mow. Things do now grow. Tangents now soar.
Everyone, welcome to episode 13. I love that number. Greetings, everyone. Greetings to the panel. Greetings to the chat. My name is Helzo. This is Discussing, and welcome to Tangent Kings, the 13th episode. It's not on a Friday, but okay, we can skip that. The 13 is a good number. We're still here. We have not been banned. We are still going, and we, as always, have a lot of good topics to discuss. There's actually, in my personal opinion, this is going to be one of the best ones topic-wise, because it seems that as the world and the year is coming to an end, things are just rushing to happen more and more, and people are announcing stuff, companies are announcing stuff, companies are revealing stuff, and people are very nervous on stage and saying stupid shit. But we'll get to that in just a bit. I would firstly like to say a very warm hello to the chat, because the chat is always here for us. They support us, they watch us, they say their opinions, and their opinions are very valid sometimes, and that's all I'm gonna say for that for now. But welcome to Dignified Cartoon Gentleman, the co-host. Thank you for being here. I also saw the Finch King earlier, but YouTube is being a little bit of a weird lately, and it's very fastly deleting messages. So like the stream, beep, and support the stream. Thank you very much, Thinking. Thank you very much, Digny. As you know, we have Super Chat Go. We have everything set up, and it all goes to the channel and helping homeless animals and animals in shelters. That's a good thing to put in there, just a little bit of a self-promotion. Because the ad system and the ad infestation that I like to call it has just taken over the entire YouTube. I don't know who that is, but Save Me Riff, at Save Me Riff says,
that's me.
Apparently... Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well, hello. Hello. So you're, Oh, you're doing a double take on us. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you also to Yasu, a brilliant mod, the cousin. Thank you very much, Broski. Hello. Welcome to everyone else. Let's see. Am I missing someone? I'm not missing someone. Okay, we're a good bunch, right? And now, to the more professional part of things, I would like to present the panel. And we'll start with the co-host of this particular show, Digny, the DCG, as he likes to abbreviate himself now. How are you doing, Mr. Dignified Cartoon Gentleman?
Well, abbreviations are very important, folks. That's why I call myself Digny, because I don't expect the majority of people watching or listening to say my full name. But let's increase our viewership a bit by saying the following. I love Israel.
Good thing none of us are black. You want to get a black person trying to say Dignified Cartoon Gentleman out loud multiple times?
No, especially when they're drunk. But here's to a great show, ladies and gentlemen. L'chaim to all of you. Baruch atah Alaminol Chalamor Himel Chemach. That last bit is.
You're a little too good at
just
this.
Don't joke, man.
I think you just summoned Voldemort.
But it is great to
My
be
furniture started moving.
Let me just put my normal attire back on. I should probably, to stay in character, I should probably ask for money to become this. Okay, folks? So,
Posts based in Israel.
Yeah, there we go.
Guys, on Wednesday you can have the dignified cartoon rabbi if you fill up the super chat goal today.
Shalom.
And we appreciate everyone's support. And I'd just like to repeat again for everyone here and for the algorithm. I love Israel. We love Israel. I love Jews. And we love Jews. So here we go. How about you, Roger? Do you love the Jews?
I'm going to be honest. I don't think I've ever met a Jew in my life, but I love to meet them.
Play the algorithm.
I'm sorry. You didn't say...
I apologize. Yes, I do love the Jews. I love them very much.
Algorithm,
You didn't answer immediately, so we're going to cancel you now.
I will say completely different topic, but one thing that I did order in the mail finally came in. The We Are Charlie Kirk little wristbands that came in from Turning Point USA. It finally showed up, so got to represent who should be the person of the year in Time Magazine. Because I've been saying that's been going around here lately.
I sure as hell hope you don't watch Candace Owens' video anytime soon, because that is one hell of a rabbit hole. But it's good to have you here, Roger. You look like a gangster from GTA 4.
Hold on. There we go.
There we go. But how about you? Well, how about you, Jose? Do you love Israel?
I think I have more in common with the Saudis, actually. But yeah, so speaking of not loving Israel, I guess Digny's gonna have fun with John tomorrow, because John will probably start off doing a show and then make it a 3-hour rant on how much he hates Candace Owens. But,
and then I will remind him constantly that it's not about right or wrong. It's about being popular and what is the most popular thing these days. But it's great to have everyone.
Yeah,
I hope you're all doing well. Yes, things are getting very busy as the year ends, and hopefully by the end of the year, everyone here watching and on the show will celebrate the wonderful holiday that is Hanukkah. So on that note, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the first topic. Like the stream, share the stream, donations are always welcome. Before we really get into the meat of today's show, let's talk a little bit about Ubisoft, and let's talk about how Tencent's turmoil is undermining the company. So, Helzo, you recommended not just this topic, but all of today's topics. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
So, thank you very much. So, we know what happened 2 weeks ago with Ubisoft, that we had a delay in their earnings report, and everybody, including me, had the collective thought that things are happening in Ubisoft. To be honest, things have been happening for a long time. Their stocks are in the trash. They have been in the trash since 2 years, but to this day, they're lower than they were ever in the last 15 years or so. It's an absolute abysmal situation. If you look at the longer graph, it looks like a fading pose. And with that delay, everybody had one thought: they're either getting bought or they're getting dismantled. And on one hand, none of these things directly happened. Ubisoft is still here. There is a bit of a situation. They claimed, and I will be sharing a reports page on Game World Observer, which has, in my opinion, a good article about it. Wait, is this it? Nope, it's not this. Sorry. Ubisoft report: 1,500 employees laid off in a year and 1.15 billion in net debt. Now, it's important to say that 1.15 billion is the exact amount that they signed with Tencent. And this is something important because up to this point, the deal was still in the air. And with them delaying the report, they could smuggle, in my opinion, the signing of that deal, and it's now a fact. So I'm just going to go quickly over this because I don't want to waste a lot of time on just reading the article. One of the things that they reported that compared to last year when Assassin's Creed Shadows wasn't released, its revenue slightly decreased by 2.1% to 657 million. Net bookings have increased. All Ubisoft games. This is very important, but all Ubisoft games accounted for 96% of the net bookings amount with the increase. So this is something very telling, but we'll get to that as well.
Wow.
They're still operating at a loss, but the net losses have decreased. They dropped from 246 million to 161. This is like almost 100 million. And with the deal with Tencent to establish Vantage Studios, which is a different studio that will get, I think it will get the Assassin's Creed and some other franchises. I don't remember
Rainbow Six.
The works. They'll acquire. They'll be starting to work there. They signed a 1.15 billion euro for that, and with that, they'll be settling their debt. So up to this point, from what I've said, what have we learned? They're still operating at a loss, but it's a more manageable loss. Their net bookings have increased, which is kudos to that. However, 96% of the net bookings increase are due to their old games, their actual good games. None of that is due to their newer games, and especially the last couple of years with X Defiant, with Assassin's Creed Shadows that have absolutely been demolished. And people were trying to be very big shields about that, because they're saying Ubisoft says that Assassin's Creed Shadows is overperforming, and they are saying that. They're saying, this is a quote, they're saying that it's overperforming. However, when they talk about numbers, when they talk about actual numbers about how well it's doing, they're talking about the franchise. They're not talking about Assassin's Creed Shadows. And actually, earlier today,
that's a trick they've been doing. Yeah.
And actually, I think it was earlier today, and I'm going to look that up. They posted an image of Assassin's Creed Mirage having 10 million players, and that's what they're going to push. Like, you see, Assassin's Creed is good, and Assassin's Creed Shadows, and just gonna push in there. But you also know that Assassin's Creed Shadows is also a good game. It's part of that franchise, so it's a good game because it's part of that franchise. If you look at, let's say, Steam numbers, sorry, I couldn't find the image. There's so much clutter on that page, but when you look at Steam and when you look at those sales numbers there, like by VG Analytics and stuff like that, they're pretty accurate. Like up to 85-90% accuracy. And if you compare that, and if any of you have watched my videos on that, I've been very generous in giving Assassin's Creed Shadows double what realistically I think they made, and I've doubled the numbers that I've calculated on my videos, and they still haven't made a profit. They would still not make a profit. It's still under 1 million on Steam, by the way. They're still under 1 million. 897,000 is the best, the most positive estimate. Even if you double that and you add 2 times over from consoles up until now, that will get it again to close to 4.5 million. And if you count into that the development cost, the money they had to pay for a lot of the shit that they pulled through with stealing banners and stuff like that, and the desecration of shrines in games, and probably, in my opinion, the money that they had to pay to settle that out of court, they're not on a win. They're on a huge loss. And if any of the rumors that Assassin's Creed Shadows cost around 600 million, which I am inclined to believe, especially with the 2-hour ending cutscene, because those are like 3,000 employees working on that game. If you calculate only them with the time that the game development took place and made a rough salary estimate, you see the money on that as well. They're operating on a huge loss, and they, in my opinion, delayed that earnings call to be able to move forward with the Tencent deal, so they can write it down that the debt is settled. And when the debt is settled, the numbers disappear as a negative, and that looks better on the charts. When you present the charts without a debt, that automatically reduces the cost and the loss, and that's 1.15 billion.
Well, we need to consider that this arrangement Ubisoft has made with Tencent to essentially establish Vantage Studios. It's a benefit for both companies. I mean, looking down further in this article, Ubisoft's plans for the future, their game projects are mostly going to focus on remasters and remakes, because I think the general terms of the arrangement is for Vantage Studios, they can make new Assassin's Creed games, they can make new Far Cry games, they can make new Rainbow games, they might even make new Splinter Cell games. But in terms of what was, that is still in the purview of legacy.
Correction, Digny. Rainbow Six games. Rainbow games are how they got into this mess to begin with.
Oh, man. Yeah, I just like calling it Rainbow Six because I don't want to even think about the 5 that made the 6th one possible. But I just want to make this clear, folks. The lineup of Ubisoft's future projects is not bad at all. Okay, the mobile game. Not interested in that, but it'll probably make bank. The Division Resurgence. Now, that could be a very interesting game, especially the title, Resurgence. Ubisoft come back. Legacy Ubisoft come back from the brink, and they make a game called The Division Resurgence. And then, of course, remakes of Prince of Persia, Sands of Time, fantastic game, and a possible remake of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. If all 4 of those games, is a pretty big if, but if all 4 of those games do well financially, then Legacy Ubisoft can go from being on the verge of collapse, which is where they are, to having a resurgence of their own. All the while, Tencent take the best of what Ubisoft has to form Vantage Studios to increase their footprint in the gaming landscape. So this has the potential to be a fantastic win-win for both sides involved.
If they go towards pleasing their audience, which is going to be very hard because this is a huge company. And we talked about this in the previous show, that with that change, that a lot of companies are either bailing out, becoming obsolete, or trying to change, like Square Enix is trying to change. But it's very hard for big companies to change direction, especially with so many mishaps. There's a lot more money, a lot more people to consult, and a lot more investors to fall. So I do agree that this can be very profitable for both of them, especially with Vantage Studios, that they're going to be having a blank slate in terms of control at this point, because they essentially bought the rights to these games. So they're going to just either remake them, or when they release something, if it's in the right hands, they're not going to be like concerned with identity politics. They're going to be concerned with making money. And what makes a game money?
It's all going to be new projects, Helzo. That's because Ubisoft have made that clear. Legacy Ubisoft, they've made it clear, because I think the reason they sold the rights to Assassin's Creed and Far Cry and Rainbow Six's future projects is because they honestly believe the franchise's futures are exhausted. That's why they sold them. What's Far Cry 7 going to be? Oh, take on a cult. What's Far Cry 8 going to be? Topple down a tyrannical government? No fucking way. It's a Chinese-run company. There's no way they're going to make that a game. But
they're going to send them to Ukraine.
Or send them to Ukraine. What are they going to do with Assassin's Creed that hasn't already been done before? They're exhausted franchises, and Legacy Ubisoft, they can cut down and focus on remasters and remakes. They have the potential to build back better.
Oh, no, you didn't. Not that phrase again.
But what does Jose think? And then Roger.
Well, there's a lot to unpack here with Ubisoft. First off, as Helzo mentioned about their stock being lower than it's been in 15 years. And that number, whatever you think it is even lower than that because we have to also adjust for global inflation. So when you say their stock is in the toilet, it's actually already down the drain and rummaging through the mold-ridden sewer at this point. The other thing with Ubisoft, the second point as to what Digny is saying about the remakes and remasters are also cheaper to produce.
Yeah.
And they already have a little bit of a built-in audience because of nostalgia factor. And moreover, in a topic that we'll be talking about later, there's going to be shortages of certain, infrastructure for a lot of brand new gaming. So it's best to sort of look backward. You can make it easier, less taxing on machines, less taxing for consoles. And that's going to be something that Ubisoft has to look into as well, because they're going to have to cut a lot of spending. And you can only cut so many people before you have to really start reevaluating what kind of projects you're doing. Now, the best commercial for Assassin's Creed is Assassin's Creed Shadows, because everyone looks at that slop and says, I miss the old Assassin's Creed. That's why you see this number 10 million attached to like an old Assassin's Creed game. We were like, hey, remember when Assassin's Creed was actually good? I'm going to go buy and play that instead of whatever the hell slop this is.
Mirage shows it's very interesting because Ubisoft's strategy when they were peaking at around 2019 and 2020 is that they didn't know where to go. So they decided to go in both directions to see which one was best, which was catastrophic for them. Do we do something new, big and bold with Skull and Bones?
Oh, that was a disaster.
Or do we play it safe with what we've always done with Mirage, right? And Mirage, it was a successful Assassin's Creed game. It was a profitable Assassin's Creed game. It was a bit too safe.
Yeah.
But it worked. Whereas Skull and Bones, as you all know, was a fucking disaster.
And I mean, when you say 96% of what they've made is a result of old games, and then you look at it, they've had several disasters, one after another, in Assassin's Creed Shadows, Star Wars Outlaws, Skull and Bones. I mean, this company, you don't drop multiple bombs like that and stay in business. Unless, of course, you have a successful MMO, but then you don't tank it by adding a troon to the ranks. But that's a whole other company, a whole other story.
Yeah, Square Enix.
Yeah. But Square Enix was able to make multiple bombs and survive because they had an MMO to back them up. Ubisoft doesn't have that. So you make 3 bomb AAA games, you're out of here. 3 strikes and you're out. And so Ubisoft finds themselves in an unenviable task of trying to survive with a boot proverbially firmly placed on their neck. Whether or not they survive remains to be seen.
I would like to also say that because this whole story with their earnings report and everything was taken over by the shills and was presented that, take that, you haters. They're okay. Nothing is happening to Ubisoft. They're winning. Their stocks is their stocks are stable. Their stocks is up. Well, this is their 1 day stock. So you see green. Yes, you see green because it kind of went up on Monday the 24th when they got back to the stock market. And it went back up because they ran that story that everything is good. They're not being bought out. Basically, they did say they're not being bought out, and it's just a clerical mistake. And like you would expect that if all of this was true, people would go rush and it would inflate the stocks to, let's say, at least 2022. Or no, let's be fair, at least 2023 when they were like at 29 or even 22, 24, but nothing happened. Because when you see this, like this is where they were before, like this is 24th, this is the 21st, they were on 706 euro. This is a continuous drip. And when you see the month, this is it. Look what's happening. This is when Mark Alexis Cote, by the way, was fired. Look at what happened. This is a dip. This is an almost vertical dive. And then they're starting climbing up. You have the 5 days, you have this climb, and then you're down again. You're not that much better than before you delayed your report, and now you're boasting. And it doesn't make any sense, because if they were doing that great, if they were on a winning streak, if they're revitalized, if everything is going great and it's all roses, people who work this for a living, who spend money on stocks and who circulate stocks and that's their whole life, who are very, very into the whole thing and very knowledgeable, would be buying like crazy, would be inflating the stock. They would be rising. Like this stock would be like at least 200% up.
They're gonna pay a couple of broke redditors to go say buy the dip on some forums. That's what they're gonna do.
Yeah, they're gonna gift them Assassin's Creed Shadow as a payment.
Look, guys. I'm going to be the first to say this, and then we'll get Roger's perspective. Ubisoft should not be a publicly traded company. They don't have the strength to be a publicly traded company. This is a company that sold the future rights to their best franchises, despite the fact that as a company, it has massive potential. It has at least dozens of franchises that could carry the company forward. It's only because of poor management and this incessant obsession to make triple and quadruple A flops, which has caused the company to effectively collapse. Wokeness is a secondary problem, folks. It's the least of Ubisoft's problems, in my view. And I think a great opportunity by selling the rights to these future to the future of franchises, it gives Ubisoft the opportunity to go back to basics, capitalize on that success, and then move things forward and bringing more franchises out from the cold. Because there was a time when Ubisoft would develop and publish multiple games a year for decades, and they were on a roll. They were on so much of a roll that EA wanted to buy them, gobble them up, and spit them out.
And they would post something for everyone. They'd have family games. They'd have a couple sports games. They'd have a couple shooters. I mean, they had a lot of variety as well. They were doing very well.
There's a reason Ubisoft acquired that reputation of we are the everywhere gaming company, because we have a finger in all these different pies and all of these different genres. But what about you, Roger? You look a bit stoned there, but provide us your perspective.
Western type of stoned or Eastern type of stoned?
No, he looks like
there is a difference.
Please go ahead, Roger, please.
But yeah, it's just the whole entire thing where, yeah, just thinking back, when you honestly think back, when was the actual last successful Ubisoft game to come out?
That's a good question.
Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Probably Mirage.
And then before that, Valhalla.
Yeah,
I don't think Valhalla was considered that much of a success, at least at that time.
Well, see, that's the thing, though, is that they're going off of Odyssey, which a lot of people still hold it in high regards. I just think ever since they started swaying away from how they originally were back with the Syndicate, where it was the actual assassination mechanics and everything they have, to go more towards like the RPG stuff. That's when people started saying like, okay, this feels weird. But then they got to Odyssey, they enjoyed it. But whenever you got to Valhalla, it just felt so bloated with a bunch of nothing, empty space and everything for you just to explore. So yeah, it was successful, but it was just riding off the coattails of Odyssey because they had such good grace with that. But then, like you said, they just keep on making like these stupid financial decisions and everything, and also just going into like these particular ways that we've seen a bunch of the entertainment industry goes, where they keep on catering to people that do not care about the video games that they're trying to appeal to them and everything. Because in all honesty, the last like good game that I think that they've put out was that the new Prince of Persia game that I think came out last year, the Lost Crown.
The two-dimensional
the two-dimensional one. That was an actual real good game. It didn't cost a whole lot to make, but the problem is that this is on me and everything, and probably some other people who kept on seeing like the same patterns repeat over and over again, was that they took a look at the main character and they just thought it was just going to be another garbage thing, because not just black character, but it's that black character that always has that
Killmonger.
Yeah, the Killmonger haircut.
Yeah.
And it was just like, oh, we're just going to be getting more stuff like this. But if you had properly advertised it and everything, you could have actually had a pretty good success. But no, you just put it out there and didn't have any faith in it whatsoever. But then it's like what Jay said. They could also come out with remakes. Yes, they could, but who's to say they won't go in with these remakes and try to add stuff in it that wasn't in the original game? And my honest opinion, if they want to try to save as much money as they possibly can, just go in there and try to actually optimize the older games to play on modern systems.
That's true.
Well, they're just gonna blame the fans if nothing works.
This is a company that needs to. This is a company that needs to cut down. It needs to go back to basics, and it needs to use the Unreal Engine. Okay.
Well, you know, the stupid thing about this company is they went so far with, well, it's not about money. It's about the message. The message, guys. And you know what? Here's the funny thing. When you say that, the message still doesn't make money in the end. You cannot eat. You cannot pay for what you need to get in society with the message. You can pay for what you need to live with money. And Ubisoft seems to have forgotten that. The other thing they forgot is that black men typically don't like homosexuality. So by shoehorning that into Assassin's Creed Shadows, like, I mean, I have heard some things out in the ghetto. Okay, I live in Atlanta. I live around black gentlemen, and I will tell you right now that they don't like that rainbow stuff.
Yeah, that gay shit in my Assassin's Creed.
The most bigoted group of people are black men. Why? Because they have to live with black women. Okay.
Also, another thing is that let's not forget there was also
I'm too European for that.
There's also another statement that also caused them to get a lot of heat as well. Where, oh God, who was it? I think it was like somebody in a higher up position where he basically said the quiet part out loud about the whole thing about trying to switch over to the digital gaming market, and pretty much said, "Oh, the players better not get used to owning their games."
Yes, there was a lot. There was a surveillance in Europe. They were listening in on player versus player calls in games and saying that they would call the authorities on you if you said anything that violated the hate speech laws in the respective country that you were living in via the headsets. So there's been a lot of bad mistakes from Ubisoft. And thank you, Helzo, for reminding me that it's too European for you. I keep forgetting that you live in Earth X from Peacemaker.
Yeah, you don't have to deal. You don't have to deal with these creatures. And thank God
we use the N-word descriptively at work and during company meetings. So
it's a descriptive. But I just like to make it clear that another problem Ubisoft have is
shout out to Rocky Dennis.
Is that they're trying to aim for a position that they could never attain. Ubisoft was never the be-all and end-all of console gaming or of PC gaming. It was always middle to upper. It was never top of the tree. And with these projects like Shadows, these projects like Outlaws, especially Skull and Bones, those projects are all purpose-built to try to be the best game or the game of the year, when that's never been Ubisoft's role. It's never been where they've thrived at, right? Ubisoft, especially in the 2000s and early 2010s, were known for making consistently good games. It was never all crap and then game of the year every few years.
They had a stable following of they had a consistent fan base, a growing consistent fan base, great games, great stories, and they were like, okay, this is what we do. They had it all figured out. And by the way, I think they could have potentially made more different Assassin's Creed, like in a lot of different cultures and stuff like that, and expand the story in a much better way than they did. But
Digny made an excellent point that's just a recurring theme on this show is when you institutionalize an industry, it's a net negative for everybody involved, because if they weren't trying so hard to win a game award, they would do what they stuck to, what they were good at. By the way, keep in mind, in an alternate reality somewhere, Ubisoft's name is on Clair Obscura Expedition 33.
Yes.
That could
Yep.
easily happen,
yeah.
and it didn't because of Ubisoft's many missteps. And here they-
Speaking of that,
yeah.
speaking of that, that like prospect of Clair Obscur was proposed while the devs that were from Ubisoft were at Ubisoft. It was proposed to be done there as a potential project, but they realized that it's just going to take too fucking damn long.
Well, whoever at Ubisoft shot it down right now is wearing cement shoes and at the bottom of a sea somewhere. Because
I'm sure
they're putting gasoline over everything, and we're gonna get to the Game Awards in a bit. But
I'm sure Ubisoft people read the concept for Expedition 33 and were like, "Well, Square Enix told us that this way of gaming wouldn't work."
Oh,
so we
and look,
but
what
you know
see
what?
on the
That
screen.
headline, guys. People are playing fewer games. No, people are playing less of your games. People are playing more games than ever. I mean, you're saying that off the heels of about like 4 years of the COVID era. Come on, man.
Well, this is
If
also
if you start to compare numbers, like just team numbers, this is going to get shot down immediately. But we don't need to, because we know that that's not true.
Yeah. Exactly.
This is a problem, and it's not just Ubisoft that has this problem. There's also Bethesda as well. I mean, Bethesda recovered by essentially selling out to Xbox, but Bethesda always had a reputation of consistently making good games. They were never great games, folks. Skyrim was never a great game. It was a good game that got elevated because it was the epitome of what Bethesda gamers wanted and still want to this day, okay? When they got bought out by Xbox, they tried to make this supermassive game that would dominate for a decade in Starfield, and it did very well financially, but inside a year, it's practically disappeared. These companies should stick to what they are good at and not try to reach for things that they cannot possibly attain.
Absolutely.
I just wanna showcase two comments that are very accurate from Just a Quiet Peaceful Dance. People are playing fewer new games. People are playing more retro games, and I would agree, but I would also say something. 2025 is the exception to that. Like in the last 5 years. No, it is kind of the exception because we had a lot of good new games this year.
Yeah, we did have a lot of solid new titles. I think, but for the most part, you know.
But I agree. I agree with him because retro games are games. They're not Dragon Age Veilguard.
You know what we saw, Helzo? We saw that at the bottom line, when you produce a new game, you have to make something that is really just, you know, substantive in terms of not worrying about a message, not worrying about agenda. You have to make the game fun. You have to make it efficient. You can't take up 150 gigabytes of somebody's hard drive. You can't charge $89 for it. You have to sort of figure out what pleases the paying customer. If you can't do that, then you don't have a business trying to put out these quadruple A slop.
Exactly.
Go on, Roger.
And just to bring up the other thing that Helzo brought up about the people playing older games, not stuff like Dragon Age Veilguard. A prime example with that game right now. That game's been out for just a little over a year. And think about how much it costs when it came out. It costs $70 USD. 1 year later, 1 year later,
it cost them studios, just to say. Sorry.
Yeah, 1 year later, it's now costing $7 in a clearance bin at Walmart.
Right. Do you remember Suicide Squad being on sale for $3 at the beginning of the year?
And I'm still not buying it, right? I'd rather take the concept and make Dragon Age Heroes out of it. But I will make it clear right here, right now, that the biggest problem we are seeing in all entertainment is, as Jose points out and as the network likes to point out, it's the institutionalization of what we do. Because how else can poisonous ideology infect something, right? It's because they latch on to that something, and that something is the institutions. That's why it's much better to build a tent than it is to build a house, because if your tent gets infested, you can just destroy it and make another tent. That's our biggest problem now.
It's like a Metroid grabbing a host and just draining all the life out of it.
Don't mention Metroid. James Gunn will fiddle with your children. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we'll move on to the next. You can tell I really don't like James Gunn.
Really? Nobody could have said that.
I'm actually the only person who liked his Scooby-Doo films. But at 2.2, I'll write down for 42 minutes, and 20 seconds. We're going to talk a little bit more about the Camelot 331's chargeback scandal, folks, because although this is very, very rare as an event, this has the potential to annihilate all content creators who wish to institutionalize what we do, folks, because it's very dangerous. These chargebacks, it's not just on YouTube. This could happen anywhere, right? The precedent is set now. The law is very clear. You can charge back up to 120 days, and a creator has no right to appeal. No right. The only way they can get the money is by kicking up a ruckus on social media and causing a goddamn controversy. It's easy to do if you have millions of supporters. It's a bit more difficult if you have hundreds of thousands. But if you're run-of-the-mill channels such as us, regardless of platforms, it's going to be impossible.
By the way, Digny, I just want to bring this up because I brought this up the last time we discussed this topic on the network. But as predicted, Chris did bring it up. Chris at Rumble, no chargebacks at Rumble Wallet. You hear that, YouTube? I told you he was going to bring it up eventually, right?
And my response to that,
good marketing.
My response to that, since we passed the minute mark on YouTube, bullshit. I know a case where this motherfucker's platform denied a creator $4,000 from his channel, which caused that creator to leave the creator program and no longer support Rumble. And in an attempt to bribe that creator back onto the platform, this cocksucker and his platform Rumble tried to give that creator $8,000. And that creator said, "Thank you, fuck you, bye." Why should we support a platform like Rumble that is so inconsistent? We know this platform, YouTube, will fuck us in the ass, but they won't shoot us in the back of the head or stab us in the back.
Oh boy.
They will stab you in the back, but
he said it, not me.
I know how to
not
protect
slap me
myself.
down. I will do the Blue Chew reads, please.
I know.
Jace, get your Rumble shirt. Fast.
Okay, Chris, I am one of you.
I also have a tiny
right?
hat.
You cannot.
There it is. The promo. Don't sue.
I'm not going to be lectured on fucking chargebacks by a CEO whose site couldn't even pay its own fucking users for a period of time. So don't lecture me on all that, Chris Pavlovstein.
Woo! That's going to be a clip for the ages.
Oh, yeah.
And if you've got a problem with that, you can go talk to my good friend Ray.
Shalom, brother. But anyway, so the Camelcast situation is something that I'm genuinely scared of. And a little bit of a background for those of you who don't know, I do work in anti-money laundering. This is my day job. This is what I do. I have done this for the last 10 years. I've done this in gambling. I'm not doing this in fintech. So, a little bit what Camelcast said here is that somebody charged back 120 days, which is the maximum days for Visa and MasterCard to be able to charge. 10K to 20K. So house goes on the market next week. See you later, YouTube. It's been real. This is an older tweet, but this is basically what has been happening. You see here, this is from an older post. This is him being on the negative. This is the negative earnings. So before I continue, I'll just say the latest news with that whole situation is that he's waiting for a very coherent answer from a very deep dive search. From what I know, and I haven't heard anything else, is that YouTube has stopped taking daily money from him. Like they have been taking daily money from by $100 each
That's
day.
so
So
rough.
they've been draining his account. So I'm gonna explain something that's a lot of people. I didn't see a lot of people comment on that. Like on one hand, Google, not YouTube, Google, that is the main company, is what true YouTube is acting like a payment processor. This is the official title that you're doing. When you're a payment processor, you are essentially processing someone's money and delivering them for a service, product, or something in the works, which YouTube is when you're doing a super chat, a membership, or a paid subscription, whatever you might want to call it. This is a product or a service that you're getting. So it's now, this is on the screen. It's now day 17 with no news from YouTube about garnishing my revenue out of nowhere. I made a full video explaining everything up to this point. Please share it, comment. I strongly urge you to go and check out this video. This is from, I think, from one of his recent streams. The thing is that when you have that, when you're a payment processor, you generate, this is not only in Europe or in certain countries, you're basically responsible for the security of the payments. You have teams, you have people, you have automated systems that should flag any suspicious payments. Now, I know that, and some of you are going to think about that YouTube is a huge company. A lot of payments go through. You can't catch everything. That's true. No company can. We're like companies that deal with these things on a daily basis catch what they can. It's getting better, it's getting worse, depending on who's winning, the fraudsters or not. The thing is that in terms of chargebacks, you do not, unless there is concrete evidence of foul play on both ends, on the receiver and on the sender. And by foul ends, I mean a scam, a money laundering scheme, or something even more serious that I'm not gonna mention here. That's the only time that you can, on one hand, withhold money and potentially request money. It even gets worse if you don't have that concrete evidence, because that's when you have to get external authorities to issue a court order for freezing the money. That's public information, by the way. I'm not like sharing trade secrets, just so you know. None of that has happened. You have a creator who's just doing his own thing like we do, and suddenly he's seeing a negative. No explanation. His account is still up, by the way, which is something that if there was foul play shouldn't be there. And I'm not saying YouTube needs to do something about it, but they need to let this go and just rectify the situation, because this is abhorrent what they're doing. The thing is that if, from what I've heard, when you oh yeah,
there are some people who don't like Camelot.
There have been people that are like just happy that this is happening here, which is tells you a lot about people in general. The thing is that you sign supposedly an agreement when you get into a creator program where you get monetized to be liable for all chargebacks, which is absurd in my opinion. And the thing is that this is setting a very flaming idea into every money launderer and every other type of financial criminal. That imagine that we're doing this stream now, and suddenly I get 2-3 donations of $100. That's gonna be great. I'm gonna be great. I made my month. That person has 120 days to charge them back. If they charge them back, I'm already gonna be receiving the money. The money is going to be processed already, so I don't have it. Supposedly, won't have it in stock or in processing, like from the system from Google. And this is going to be charged from me. Like from my pure finances, my finances at the time. And if I haven't made enough money in the following month for those $300, then they're gonna come out to future finances. And potentially, if I don't have that, or if, let's say, I decide not to do YouTube anymore, they might come after me directly. This is abhorrent. This is scary. This is, especially for smaller channels, this is an absurd situation that I think has the potential for people like us to be used as part of that scheme unwillingly.
Oh, yeah. Think of it this way, ladies and gentlemen. Every time at the end of the month, say you're a monetized creator, say you earn $100 or you raise $100 in donations, right? All right. You get it in the month, you got to wait 4 months. You got to wait 4 months before you can use it. Every single month, you've got to wait 4 months. I can tell you for a fact that would wipe out at least 90% of monetized creators in the pop culture content creation sphere, because a lot of ingoings and outgoings happen on a monthly basis. I can tell you personally that we would continue. Well, I would continue under such a scenario. I can't speak for anyone else here, but that's only because Digny operates on a budget of 0. And if, for example, this whole situation became commonplace everywhere, people just donating and then charging back and then bankrupting everyone, then I'd be like, well, yeah, we'll just incorporate everything into one space, operate on a budget of 0, and exist that way. And if we do monetize, if we do get donations, we're going to have to hold them for for 4 months, every month, wait for 4 months. And we're going to have to do it that way so that we do not fall prey to this issue. And I think that's how we're going to adapt, because taking a company like YouTube, which is owned by Google, which is owned by Alphabet, to court over this is impossible. I'll tell you why. Because the company is worth more than most major economic nations on Earth. There is no way. Not with 10 million people could you beat YouTube, folks. Not even a class action lawsuit of 10 million creators can stop this platform. They have consistently proved their worth to Google, and thereby proving their worth to Alphabet. They will not be sued into oblivion. It's as simple as that. This, folks, what you are seeing could be the beginning of the end of content creation and live streaming as we know it, because the precedent's set. If YouTube can get away with doing this, by God, Twitch will. And I'm sure Kick will, and I'm sure Instagram will, and TikTok, and all of them.
Well, Courageous Kirsten on the chat is very accurate that a lot of the terms on YouTube that you sign would not hold up in court. I agree with that. But like when you're a person, or even if you're several people that are filing a common, like a suit against you, you're still dealing with a huge company. So this is by the least, it's going to be several years of going to courts, and all the while trying to maintain financial stability, which
the other
how hard it is.
The other problem, Helzo, is, this is, what we're seeing with Camelcast is on a very large scale, but on like a smaller scale, somebody could do this for you for like $20, $30, $50. And yeah, sure, you could try to, contest it, but it would cost you more to get an attorney and do that than it would to get that money back. And so on a smaller scale, people can still screw with you. This sets a terrible precedent.
You wanted to present you with a situation of a very dire situation. I'm not going to say that word, but I'm going to say TF, which is T financing, which is not money laundering. This is I'll just tell you a scheme, and this is a scheme that has been used before for the London Bridge stuff that has happened, I think, a decade ago. So imagine you get on a smaller scale, $10-$20, from several people over the course of a week. You get this for, let's say, several months. It's a constant. You're getting used to it, and in a month, you're, as a channel, let's say on my size, you have being presented with around $700. Let's say $700. All right, gather 50 more channels like that on my level that are getting similar from similar people. Those are super chats memberships. Over the course of 120 days, they can charge back those. And if it's not contested, they're gonna charge them back. They're gonna receive them. Those money are already laundered. Those will be clean money, and they can be used.
And YouTube has already gotten their cut. That's why it's you guys and us
exactly
who are liable for this. YouTube don't have to do a damn thing, right? All that will happen is that creators will have to adapt to new circumstances. That's all. Just like they have in the past. Remember the adpocalypse, ladies and gentlemen? What happened? YouTube didn't bend the knee. It was the creators who had to adapt to a new situation. And thank you to Clippy for the $2 donation, saying another reason not to stream on YouTube. Thank you for your donation, my good man. Yet this can apply to any platform. In fact, I dare say every platform.
Yeah, it can, because you're dealing with the 120 days from Visa and MasterCard. These are their terms. It's not the terms of the platform. The terms of the platform are unique to every platform, but I can pretty much gather that they're very similar. And especially if you have larger amounts of chargebacks, they're going to try to appease Visa and MasterCard. And especially with Visa and MasterCard being appeased all throughout the different platforms.
And even if platforms say they won't do it, folks, like Rumble, actions speak louder than words. Rumble is a publicly traded company. It wouldn't be difficult for a company like Visa or MasterCard to either buy them out through the stock market or isolate, contain, and destroy them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, also the thing in reference to that, Chris is talking about crypto, but then crypto's a whole other animal. The average person with crypto, it's like explaining stereo instructions. I know for me, I'm reading crypto and I'm like, what did you just say? You know, they're throwing, it's like algebra to me. So it's like if crypto is how you protect your money, then it's also not exactly the most viable, because not everybody understands the nuances of crypto. You could introduce a wallet, that's great, but not everybody knows the ins and outs of Ethereum to Bitcoin to Tether to USDT or whatever. It's like, again, it's like the fact that I can't figure out virtual audio cable, because of the fact that, you know, to me it's like, look, I understand money, but when you start adding sort of this weird algebra to it, it's like, I
understand money that I can touch and I can see.
Exactly.
But to answer Yasto's point here, I am of the view that everyone on the internet is a man. That way I can treat you all equally. Okay? Just putting it out there. But I look forward to...
We're a very, very progressive show, guys.
No, guys.
It has been fun. Thank you very much.
I just picture everyone on the internet as a straight white male. That way I can be nice to everyone. But what about you, Roger? What do you make of this whole situation from what you've seen and heard?
Well, it's kind of like what Clippy says, like another reason to not stream on YouTube. It's like, yeah, but that just means it's gonna it could happen to potentially anywhere, and that's just the scary thing about it. Because I know that I saw from another person in here, Courageous Christians, like about thanks for covering it, but it's just thanks to stuff like this that prevents them from even wanting to even be a content creator. And that is just one of the things that's just going to happen, is that it's going to just prevent people that want to make like their voices heard and everything. But after seeing stuff like this, it's going to deter them away from it, because they don't know if the things that they have been seeing will potentially happen to them as well. The only way that any of this ever gets solved is if it was to happen to somebody that has millions of subscribers and everything, because then YouTube and Google will actually start giving a damn, potentially.
Well, I'd just like to make it clear in regards to the situation, there is one positive, folks, in that if you wait 4 months, right, every month you wait 4 months and nothing bad happens, a good positive is you're learning how to save money. In fact, you're being forced to in that respect. I have just received a call from my friends at the ADL. They have like a special honking button for me. And I must go to my Jewish master, my father, to ask him or to see what he wants. So I'll be right back.
But yeah, that's just like what Digny said. The only other
If
way
he
that you
asks me for money, I'm gonna go ballistic.
Oh
See you
boy.
around, man.
Oh boy. Oh boy. We're gonna have Jewish on Jewish crime over there.
I'm gonna be seeing the sun rise from the north.
But yeah, like what Digny said, the only other workaround that you could get through this is if Google actually implements a thing to where everything that you get through super chats and everything goes into like a separate quote unquote savings account.
Yeah.
And then after the 4 months, you will get access to all that.
But-
But that
Well,
would cause them to actually have to go in there, create hundreds of millions of little savings accounts for all the creators that are on their platform. And that is something that they will not do because that just take up way too much resources and time for them to do.
And it's gonna.
Well,
it's
this is one of the opportunities that someone can do. Like they can present the business idea, but you can even just like keep them in that sense. You know, if something like that happens. But
I mean, what I think the issue though is, guys, is also when you look at it on this, perspective, and this is another kind of big problem, is that it's going to compel people to look for alternative ways to get paid when they are a content creator, because of the fact that, if you have YouTube handle this, 4 months is a long time. And, and I know sometimes some of us have done streams where we're like, we have an imminent problem going on, and I'm not trying to beg, but this is going on, and then somebody out of the goodness of their heart will decide to help you out right then and there. All right. And so now that person is not going to be able to help you, because if you put a 4 month buffer on it, 4 months time, I have this imminent problem. Like, let's say, just an example, my dog needs a surgery, and I don't know who to turn to. Well, now guess he'll die because I got to wait 4 months to get the money to do anything.
Just in case someone decides, look, I need the money back, I got to charge back, something like that. But thank you to Clippy again, who we're calling a man because equality and all that. Reasons not to use YouTube: chargebacks, a woman, and psychos like a woman, and censorship. It's the Wild West, and I'm woefully underarmed. Well, thank you for your donation, Clippy, and hopefully you don't charge it back in 4 months.
Oh boy!
Just so it's clear, this again, this the thing that I want to say. The donations, like super chats, memberships, go to the channel and homeless animals and animals in shelters. This is what we do on this channel, helping out with the little that we can. It's a good thing that I live in a poor country, so I can do more with less.
Yes,
there you go.
Yes, you live in a country that hasn't been liberated by diversity because it's too poor. But hopefully this situation will not get any worse, folks. But you've got to hope for the best and prepare for the worst. The most likely outcome is that creators will have no choice but to adapt to new circumstances. And thank you again to Clippy for another 2 saying, ha 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 ha, no, I tip the jar for everyone I love. Well, thank you very much for your donation, Clippy. Though from my experience in content creation, a lot can change in 4 months. You can go from a vibrant network where everyone's working together to a full-scale rebellion that fails miserably, to everyone being together again, being made straight and true. If anyone rebels, you'll be crushed. So thank you for that.
That's how you know he's Israeli.
Yes, it is. And I relish in crushing rebellions. But we appreciate everyone's support. And I am very grateful that this vibrant network is stronger than ever as part of Operation Hydra, ladies and gentlemen. But on that note, let's move on to the next topic before we scare our audience away. 2.3. Write that down for an hour. 6 minutes and 30 seconds. Now, the third topic is very interesting, folks, because it's in regards to Expedition 33's clean sweep. as progressives seek to infest the Claire Obscure franchise. Now, I remember when this game first came out, it got barely any publicity. And the only company that was really pushing it was Microsoft as part of their Game Pass initiative. I remember distinctively because it was promoted alongside Doom Dark Ages, that everyone was hyped about Doom Dark Ages. Everyone. And it turned out, like every third Doom game, to be a disappointment. Not because it was a bad game, but because I'm not spending $70 for a 15-hour campaign. Okay? It's as simple as that. Expedition 33 was really the underrated showcase in that whole Game Pass Xbox showcase, which happened some time ago now, well over a year ago, getting close to 2 years ago now as we enter 2026. But I would like to point out that we are seeing a narrative control focus to the progressive side of, this has always been a progressive game. Look, the voice actors and actresses are ideologically in favor of us. We need more games like Expedition 33. All the while, before that narrative control campaign, the people on that side were condemning Claire Obscure and defending the likes of Ubisoft, the likes of Bethesda, and the likes of Square Enix in the way they were taking the games industry. So I do find that very interesting, how the opposition switch their principles, they switch teams, and like any good parasite, they just latch on. Like that little cunt there. Okay? Folks, since cats are being referenced here, all cats are a product of grape.
I knew that was coming.
All cat males, in order to impregnate the cat females, have to grape them because the female cat will naturally resist. So evolutionarily speaking, the cat male's penis evolved to be like a penetrative arrow shape to stick in. So all male cats are grapists.
The more you know.
Tell that
Knowledge is power, but that power is corrupted.
Tell that to the next cat lady cunt feminist you talk to, that she's aiding and abetting in mass cat grape. So there you go. Okay, Helzo, get on with the topic.
Oh no, this is too fun. So there's a bit of a story on all that. When Expedition 33 was first released, we had actually people from supposedly our side that were saying it was woke. I'm not gonna say who. Then those same people started liking the game. Then they were saying, "Oh yeah, the game is great, but other games are better." That started creeping in. At one point, everybody loved the game. There was no war between sides for that game because everybody loved the game because it was just that. It was a game. It didn't have any politics. It doesn't have any like ideologies and stuff like that in it. It is a beautiful, masterfully crafted game. But as the Game Awards started coming along and people started talking about whether or not it's going to be snubbed or it's going to be dominating everything, there were some voices that were saying that, it's not that great of a game. It's a bit shallow, it's not that perfect, and I'm just gonna give you that ninja. We're gonna call him a ninja. You love to hate. And I'm going to just read a little bit. Even though Expedition 33 is emotionally charged with fantastic narrative, if you're pushing it for GOTY, you're basically rewarding style over substance. This is the part that made me laugh initially, and setting the bar lower for what ambition actually means in RPG design. It's incredibly pretty sure, but under the paint, the combat system is shallow. Once the novelty of its real-time parry timing wears off, you're left with the predictable patterns, limited build diversity. I think this guy didn't even pass through the prologue of this game. And almost zero tactical improvisation. Pretty animation don't equal mechanical depth. It sells itself as philosophical and poetic, but the writing rarely moves beyond fortune cookie existentialism. Every character sounds like they're auditioning for a perfume commercial about hope and decay. Holy shit. The world design is static. The world design is static, guys. You're funneled through scenic dioramas that beg to be explored but rarely reward curiosity. I mean, no meaningful secrets. No meaningful secrets. No branching routes. No systemic interaction. Just an Arthur. For a game that claims to blend turn-based mastery with emotional storytelling, it doesn't really innovate either. The loop mechanic barely affects play, and the narrative impact is entirely scripted. You feel like a passenger, not a participant. I don't know what he was on.
This guy really hates France, doesn't he?
Okay. Let me explain something. Who put the name Clair Obscur on the box for Final Fantasy 13 for this guy to get them mixed up?
I mean, like reading this, guys, this is someone like I've played this game twice, and this is my favorite game in the last 10 years, and it's probably going to be one of my favorite games of all time for many reasons. And we've talked about this before. This is a experience. This is what gaming should be. This is the standard for gaming, in my opinion, not just in turn-based, not in a genre. This is a game that needs to be studied and dissected to see exactly what made it. We know what made it. It was story driven. It was amazing. It was a game. Like it was an actual game. And ever since that happened, like we had forced hate. Like this guy, we had forced hate. We had people saying, "Yeah, it's not going to be a game of the year. There's much better games and stuff like that." And we had that scare that it was going to be snubbed. Then came the Golden Joystick Awards. 7 nominations, 7 wins. And it was actually snubbed because if you have the Ultimate Game of the Year award, if you take the Ultimate Game of the Year award, in my opinion, you should take the Game of the Year award and the PC Game of the Year award, at least. If you have the Best Studio award to the company that made to Sandfall Studios, then you should automatically get the Game of the Year as well. Those two are intertwined, in my opinion. And they kind of tried to snub it and disqualify it, like just not included into several categories, whereas other games that were in matching categories with Expedition 33 were matched in categories that Expedition 33 wasn't matched, even though the criteria was the same. Anyways, now that it has won, we received a clip of award ceremonies, because we also had voice actors award ceremonies and stuff like that. And I think you've all seen this.
We also need to point out, Elzo, that in recent years, and Jose likes to bring this up a lot, Game Award shows are really a means to an end to promote and to establish more context between the event organizers and the developers and publishers. And that's why you don't really see many clean sweeps anymore. I mean, back in 2014, when they did the first Game Awards, Dragon Age Inquisition won Game of the Year, and also 4 other Game of the Year titles. It was a 5-time Game of the Year awarded game.
Oh boy!
Right? Why? Because Jeff Keighley wanted to build a bridge with BioWare, because Dragon Age Inquisition was the most financially successful BioWare game, and he thought by building a bridge with them, they'd go on to make bigger and better games, not realizing that they peaked with Inquisition and have been going down ever since. So that's why I don't think Expedition 33 will have a clean sweep. And folks, there's a reason Death Stranding 2 is up there, because has more
connect. Have a clean sweep on the joystick, on the Golden Joystick Awards.
I just decided to, just for my personal curiosity, take that guy's account you were just reading from, Helzo, and type in the keyword FF7. And it's so funny to watch someone who is so critical of Expedition 33 glazing the living shit out of FF7 regurgitation. How much did Square Enix pay this guy?
He's
and
a
can we charge back?
Fan. He's a Square Enix fan, and he has a vested interest, I dare say a conflict of interest, because if Expedition 33 succeeds, if Clair Obscur succeeds as a franchise, Square Enix is dead.
No, he is not I would not call him a Square Enix guy. The word that I would use to call him would be, excuse me, Helzo, I'm just going to share my screen for a moment.
No worries, go for it.
Because I can't say the word because we're on YouTube.
There we go.
I just have to use the picture of Melanie over here. Because
he's a Melanie Mac.
Yeah, there you go. Because you know what?
See you next Tuesday.
I'm a Square Enix guy, but you know what? I'm the most critical of the company because I've actually played their games, and when I have problems with their games, I'm very vocal about it. Also, we can mention on Network Dash plays a lot of Square Enix games. He's very vocal about it. He's not as mean as I am. But you know what? On the same token, this guy, glazing the regurgitation is just stupid. I want
that's kind of the worst thing, especially what you're saying about this guy. Like you don't have people who just like gaming for gaming anymore.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
They don't like good games for good games, and they refuse to. It's like obsessive football fans.
Yeah, they like a logo. And my thing is this: if I want Square Enix to make better games, I want Clair Obscur Expedition 33 to succeed because it creates a new standard that they now have to aspire to.
Yeah,
they're no longer the big dog in the yard. They have to aspire to this standard now.
Do you know what this reminds me of, folks? Do you know what Expedition 33 reminds me of? It reminds me of the first Predator movie, which is not a good sign for where the future is heading, because they had Predator 2, still good movie, but wasn't as well received. And in order to keep the franchise alive, what did they do? They joined with the makers of Alien for Alien versus Predator. And who knows? Square Enix may be like, your second game didn't do as well. Why don't you join with us? And we have a real Final Fantasy with universes colliding. And
no, they have that, and it's incredibly gay, and it's called Kingdom Hearts with Disney.
I hope it doesn't end up that way, but the signs are there, the parallels are there.
So I would like to play that clip before, because it's part of the whole topic of the glazing, because now the coin has shifted. It turned on the other side. Now they're trying to acquire the Clair Obscur fame for queer joy that is representing queerness and wokeness. And let's just see, and this is the clip from Jennifer English, who is the voice actress for Mael, who is receiving her award. And I'll just say, I think she was more nervous than trying to send a message. But I'll leave it to you guys if you haven't seen it. Check it out.
Carlac approves. It's Jennifer English.
Friend, by the way.
A lot of clapping.
And story for
yeah, I thought they were supposed to use jazz hands because clapping creates anxiety or some shit.
Wait, do they all have to clap?
Please clap.
Nominated alongside some industry titans. And thank you so much, everyone, every single one of you for voting.
Okay.
Maya embarks on this crazy journey. She chooses to live a life that wasn't serving her. And I did that a few years ago. And I chose instead a life that was authentic, a life that was gay.
Why are you gay?
It goes on.
And I chose queer joy, and as a result of that queer joy, I felt safe enough to pour my grief and pain and all that nonsense and joy and love into this incredibly beautifully written character. And I am so proud of that, and I just want to thank Queer Joy for that.
Queer joy. That's what she said. Okay,
Let me
so
tell you, guys. Let me tell you something, and then we'll get Roger's perspective. What's an actor's job?
To act.
And she's acting. It's as simple
Yeah.
as that. But Roger, what do you make of what you've seen and heard so far?
Well, I want to bring up something from somebody in the chat. Another one from a courageous Christian about it makes me talk about being concerned if I hadn't played the game already. Yeah, that's it. If I haven't played the game already and I heard this VA speech, I would unlikely play Expedition 33. I have a hard time separating art from the artist, my own issues. And
that's not your own issue, by the way. That's not her own issue. Sorry, continue. I just want to put that in.
But yeah, it's just one of these things where where it just constantly goes back to the time when Ricky Gervais, hosted the Oscars, where he says like nobody gives a fuck about what your views are and all that stuff. You come up there, you get your reward, you thank your God, whoever, and then you kindly fuck off because all you are there to do for the people that are buying your products is literally just entertain them. We do not care about the stuff that goes on in your everyday life. And that's
it's
just
very
one of the
interesting you bring up Ricky Gervais because he was in a position where he could burn his Hollywood career to the ground and or his entertainment career to the ground within the mainstream and just walk away and do his own thing because he has the capacity to do that. Financial, mental, the lot. The vast majority of people in the entire entertainment industry, whether it's acting, voice acting, gaming, every industry, very few, if any, can do that and live to tell the tale. At best, you'll end up like Ricky Gervais, and at worst, you could end up like Steven Seagal, Mel Gibson, or
Tim
Kevin
Allen.
Spacey.
Tim Allen, remember they took his role as Buzz Lightyear away from him and handed it to Chris Evans, someone who's politically more expedient to the message.
Exactly.
That's why Ricky Gervais is a fantastic example because the man did it knowing his Hollywood career, knowing his career in entertainment would be burned to the ground by saying it, and he still said it.
Yeah, but the thing is that like with Jennifer English, and that's very. By the way, Courageous Christian is very right. If we have heard that before the release of the game, something like this, like with Erika Ishii and all of the people that are promoting their vision of the game, then it would have been like a deal breaker. But nobody said that because nobody was promoting the game. She isn't by the way, it's important to say she isn't promoting the game. She's just saying that this was her inspiration for performing the way she did, which if she had said that 10 years ago, we wouldn't be talking about it, by the way.
Yeah, exactly.
Like she's not saying this game is queer. She's not saying this game is for the queer people. This is sending a message to all queer people. She just technically said, I found this like because I'm gay and I found queer joy and it helped me perform the way I did with my with my acting on my she imprinted some of that on my on that speech because she's someone who is searching for a new life and stuff like that and battling through this. Yeah, but she's battling through the death of her brother, not of her wanting to get her mensch licked.
Let me channel the inner AIDS crisis to hold grief and all that. Look. All the publicity that was done for Expedition 33 was twofold. One was all in-house by Sandful, and the other was through Microsoft's promotion. That's it. None of the promotion for Expedition 33 was done independently. It was not done by individual actors or or actresses or production staff. It was all either done in-house or through the Microsoft promotion.
Exactly.
And I think a big problem with poisoning the well is that a lot of these companies allow their actors, actresses, production staff, their team leads and developers go out on record mixing their own personal views with that of their project, and that's a big problem.
That's the weird that makes it weird, because you have to go out there and say, this is what we don't care. We care that you won an award for voice acting beautifully. Well-deserved award, by the way. She's an amazing voice actress, and I look forward to hearing her in Tides of Annihilation. I don't care. Nobody cares. No one sensible cares. There is no oppression. There is no discrimination. Nobody gives a fuck. It's not the 80s anymore. It's not the 70s anymore. It's not the 60s anymore. It's 2020 fucking 5, the end of it. Nobody gives a fuck whose dick you're sucking, or if you're doing a foursome with donkeys in your bedroom in a gimp suit. Nobody gives a fuck if it's consensual. It's your stuff. Don't bring it out.
It's 2025 and we're more racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, and anti-Semitic than we've been since 1945. Okay, Helzo? Okay?
Sure.
When people like... Let me get my Jew costume on. One moment.
Oh, boy.
When people like Nick Fuentes are allowed a voice, that catboy queer condemning my people... There's too much racism. There's too much sexism. There's too much anti-Semitism. There's too much homophobia, too much xenophobia. We should give Dave Rubin more right to buy children, okay? Everyone should have a right to buy children. Gay surrogacy is...
Did you lick a gay frog by chance before the show?
And don't question the fact that they're buying boys, because that makes you a homophobe. Respect.
Why don't I have clips for this? I need to have clips for this. I need to have a gay frog clip for this.
Respect trans penis.
We're a progressive show. It was nice knowing you guys. See you on another
give me more money, or the USS Liberty.
Oh, something happened.
Or the USS Liberty will be the least of your problems.
Oh boy!
But just going to the whole entire thing is that like it's one of these things that just fascinates me over the fact that they had to constantly keep on pushing like their on like a ideology into something that has absolutely nothing to do with it. I mean, we do not care that you are gay. You found inspiration to voice your character through like own life experience. Fine, fantastic. But like I said, just go up there, accept the reward, say your thanks, appreciate the people that bought the game, supported you, and all that stuff, and then move on. You don't need to make it about your own identity. You want to know who does this the absolute best? Freaking Tom Cruise during like the beginning of the Mission Impossible Dead Requiem, or whichever one it was, where he thanked the people who came in to support them. He wasn't trying to push anything. He just wanted to say, hey, thanks for coming in and watch my movie. I hope you have a fun time with it. That's all you need to do.
That Roger's correct. Tom Cruise is probably a closet homosexual. He's like 5'4", little manlet guy. There's a lot of speculation, and a Scientologist at that. But you never hear him really go on there and say, you know what? I would like to talk to you for about 10 minutes during this acceptance speech about accepting Scientology into your heart. Lord Zenith.
So that's why he looks so young. All the protein cream on his face.
Okay, guys. Watching any of Tom Cruise's movies is an endorsement of Scientology. I mean, have you seen his films? We all know you're in love with Katie Holmes.
That's why you should pirate them.
We all know you're not gay, Tom Cruise. We all know that. We also know that Dave Rubin will never buy a female child.
Oh, man. But You know, I gotta go with what Digny said, and that I do believe Jennifer English is
About the
acting.
children?
No. Just what about the Jennifer English thing, and that she was acting. It didn't sound so much like a sincere acceptance speech. It sounded like a veiled hostage situation where Sandfall is trying to, in light of the full-fledged Game Awards coming, make sure that they have all their I's dotted and their T's crossed because of the fact that the games journalists are out with their knives ready to stab Sandfall in the back. So they said, you know, Jennifer, if you win that award, let's be honest, they all say, oh, no, I didn't think I was going to win that award. They know beforehand who's going to win, that they're going to win the award. So, you know, hey, go out there, talk about being gay as hell, and maybe it will stop the journos from condemning us. Also neutralize Erika Ishii, who also cannot shut the hell up about being gay and is up for most of these awards in the voice actor category. So it seems like a way to sort of neutralize that, because if you really listen to Jennifer's speech, it doesn't sound sincere. It sounds like a parody. It sounds like something that South Park would have done 2 seasons ago before they decided to also bend the knee and open the mouth for the ideology.
Ben Starr is going to win Game of the Year Best Voice Actor, and he's going to stand up, and the first words of his exception speech, I don't know how to say it, is, "I love sucking cock." That's what he's going to do, folks. And, you know, I really want to answer this question or statement from this individual. Dave Rubin's husband is an excellent mother, or so I heard. Well, you know, breastfeeding is a bit hard, but there is one hard thing that will help the kids get the breastfeeding.
Yeah.
And if you know, you know.
And Sardock is saying, why would anyone care about the urinalist who bought 5 million copies of Expedition 30? Well, it goes back to what Digny said about, you know, working in the industry. And ultimately, right now, while we see some pivot in the industry, we're not seeing enough. We're not seeing it fast enough. Look, we think that because 250 guys just got fired, guys and girls and they, thems and it's got fired at Square Enix, that the industry is pivoting, or that Sony is looking at that. No, because what's happening is those same 250 people are going on LinkedIn and they're going to Bandai Namco, they're going to Koei Tecmo, they're going to Capcom, they're going to wherever they think they can fit. So when they get fired at EA or Square Enix, this is not the last you've seen of these people. These people will go infect another company that's willing to put up with their bullshit. We are not done with the culture war by a long shot, and we have certainly not wrested control from these people. You know, case in point, look.
I think that like probably Standfall, because you said that Standfall were trying to play that. I would agree that they're probably trying to just at least neutralize Erika Ishii like that, because she is all about that presentation and you know, being Antifa and stuff like that. But I don't think that Sandfall really care about it. But I think that someone did get to Jennifer English, and she's like young, she's still impressionable, and she still doesn't kind of know how to operate on these things. So that's why I said before the clip, like, she looks more nervous than like genuine. It just was like,
but
she
also,
being
held hostage.
Yeah, but to add to something that Digny is an expert on, like other than Israel, Game of Thrones. You know, when you're in King's Landing, you have to play to win or you die. And this is the case with the games industry. It is not some safe haven for people like us, or for people to just sort of, you know, just let their freak flag fly and be completely super straight.
No, it's a bloodbath.
Yeah, exactly. These people are knives out, trying to step on each other still. The industry has not healed to the point where we have a lot. Look, if you want to see an example of that, just look at what happened to the Great Rebellion the other day. That's what happens when you don't play the leftist ideology. And that's Nintendo. That's supposed to be a Japanese company that just went full-throated DEI on us about 5 years late. We are not done with these people ruining our industry that we enjoy by a long shot.
Do you know how but Roger, do you know how we destroy the games industry? Because there's no reforming it. We destroy the games industry by inflating the AI bubble so that no one can buy CPUs and GPUs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's certainly one way to make the gaming industry crash
Digny
and
is a
burn.
master of the transition, not the sexual kind.
Well,
But
I
also
think,
yes,
Dave,
sexual
I
kind.
think
both
Dave
ends.
Rubin does a better job at transitioning people than I do.
Welcome to the Dave Rubin hate stream, everybody.
Sorry,
boy.
folks, but if the best thing that ever came out of the Young Turks is Dave Rubin, then I've got a Jimmy Dore to sell to you. But Roger, please make your
Oh, boy.
final point, and then we'll get to the next topic.
It's basically what I was just getting at is like just going into like another thing that Kristen was saying about how she's trying to market herself and everything
Mhm.
for like future hiring
Mhm.
and other projects in the future. Yeah,
Uh.
that's the thing though, is that yeah, she definitely wants to make sure that she continues on with her career. The problem is though, is like how we all been saying with how this industry is just so infected with these people that keep on trying to push all this stuff that somebody, I guarantee you, because of the way that she acted, she acted like she was being held hostage during that speech that she was given. And it's the fact that I guarantee you that at some point she was told up there, it's just like, hey, so you're up for this reward and everything. That's great. You are a wonderful voice actress. It'd be a shame if you were to do something that would prevent you from continuing on with that career.
I'll tell you what they told her, Roger. They did the Sydney Sweeney and said, I'm going to give you an opportunity to swear allegiance to the LGBT
there
ideology.
it is.
Or you're gonna terrify them.
Yeah, and the difference is this: it's that a game developer who's on our side of the culture war is going to let you do a voice and not give a damn if you're straight, gay, or whatever. They're going to hire the best person for the job. And so she doesn't lose any roles by saying she's gay. Let's be honest. But if she, doesn't do that, or tries to thank everybody and say that this is just a great game, and say she thanks us, the chuds, if you will, nobody on that other side of the spectrum, the Insomniacs, the Sony Americas, and the WB Games, they're not going to hire her. So and again, keep in mind that all these people, even voice actors, have an agent and a handler that usually advise them on these matters. So there's also that. These people barely have free will.
Guys, if you want to be in the LGBT, just find a T-boy, a lady who dresses up like a tomboy, and then have that as your he-she wife, okay? Because then it will not be gay. We need to create tomboy women so that we can infiltrate the LGBT community and convince them not to cut their tits off.
Oh, no, if you like muscle mommies too much, you become like the Thomas Crooks.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn. Well, better that than your girlfriend, Jose, because she looks very nice on your phone. But
I mean, look, if you like muscle mommies and stuff like that, then I have your perfect candidate without transitioning.
Oh, boy.
1 hour. Oh.
40
no!
Oh, no! you know, Helzo, most guys have to hold a shotgun to prevent the boys from having sex with their daughters. Brock Lesnar holds a shotgun to force the guys to have sex with his daughter.
I think his daughter holds the shotgun.
I'm sorry, guys, but I am not dating trans Brock Lesnar. 2.4, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, you're gonna need a jackhammer.
Well, the 2.4 is the Gabe Cube's PC price point exposed as AI conquers CPUs, GPUs, and whatever the fuck RAM is. So, Helzo, why don't you provide context for this situation? Because I am about as computer literate as a donkey.
So ever since the Gabe Cube, as I think they're gonna make it an official name not too long from now, has been announced. There has been one speculation because it is basically partly console, partly PC, bit of both. Something unique, a mind melt or something. What the price is gonna be, and there were people like speculating that it was going to be way cheaper. On one hand, because Valve would not use that that specific machine for the profits, but they will use it to promote their games and their platform more, which is, in my opinion, a very good tactic. If they sell it like very close to breaking even, it's still gonna give them increased profits, especially with the system that they're operating on, especially with the availability, with what it can do and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, all of this is great, and they were speculating that it was going to be $500, $300. Like there was some very outrageous stuff, and I would have believed them. But then I first saw a video by Smash JT who was labeling it doomed to fail, and there is a very good reason for that. It's because of something like this. This is from Grumps, and he says it's going to be more than 800. RAM prices and NVMe storage is set to double by mid next year. We're looking at a bad situation for launch. If it was going to be 1,000 to begin with, then either have to move the price to 1,200 or eat the cost. And I'm gonna share more stuff because this is just the beginning.
Well, I'd just like to point out from the presentation, the narrative argument being made from Valve was that the GameCube was 6 times the power of a base Steam Deck. And what was the cost of a base Steam Deck? $350?
I can pull that up here.
Okay.
Just
I don't know about that.
So what's $350 times 6?
Yeah, but like
It's
kind of consolidating with
$2,100.
VRAM. Like Linus Tech kind of explained that they're trying to even that out with VRAM, with only 8 gigs of VRAM, and trying to. I don't know all the technical stuff, but they're trying to do it so it can run 4K on a lower system setting. Like not be as powerful as it needs to be to run your 4K. I don't know how they're gonna do that. Voodoo magic or something. I don't know.
We know the system settings for the GameCube were purpose built from what the vast majority of Steam players utilize for their setups, which is comparable to a gaming rig of anywhere between $600 to $900. If they go over $900, this is a failure.
Yeah, but the thing is that because RAM is set to double in price, as Grum said, it's not going to affect only the Steam machine, by the way. They're saying that it's going to be 50% RAM and everything. Like with RAM, you got then GPUs are going to double. Then you have motherboards, then you have SSDs, everything. You have power supplies. You have every bit of every part of a PC that you're going to try to build or going to try to even get pre-built is going to be double in price, or at least 30-40% double in price. So in my opinion, the GameCube is still in the run, depending on how they market it and what they decide to do with the price and what their intentions for it are. If they're agreeing to sell it close to a breaking even price, they're going to succeed, in my opinion, because it's still going to be cheaper. Because with all of this increasing, everything is going to increase. Next consoles, if they ever come out, are going to increase. PCs are going to increase. Everything that comes out afterwards is going to be an increased price. So the GameCube is still going to ride the same wave. And if they just lower the price just a little bit and focus on winning through promotion of their platform and people using their platform and their services, they're still going to win. But I think the bigger issue is that there is going to be a price spike to begin with. That means that people that are just now getting into trying to buy a computer are not going to be buying it for $900,000, $1,200 for a mid-range PC in some countries. They're going to be buying it for $2,000, which in this day and age, $2,000 is a pretty fucking big chunk of money.
Well, I will make it clear in terms of GPUs. I know the 50 series for NVIDIA came out recently, but a 5060 is only slightly better than a 1080 Ti. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck is going on? This this is clearly, as I referenced a little earlier on in today's show, this isn't about the games industry anymore. Nvidia have twisted themselves into being an AI company. They're going to inflate the AI bubble for all they can get, and they're hoping it doesn't pop.
Yep, just like the .com bubble.
Yeah. And check it out. This is from Pirate Nation. RAM prices quintupled. A PS5, like what Digny said, cheaper than a fucking DRAM. Look at it.
I have to
$649 fucking dollars.
Guess what?
$989 for, what is it? 96 gigabytes.
Guess
600.
Guess what, Helzo? This is all y'all's fault, the gamer. You know, I'm going to tell you what the plan here, the madness to this whole situation really is. We have outright rejected consoles, be it the PS5, be it the Switch 2, be it the Xbox Series, whatever the hell fucking letter they're on. We have rejected consoles. A PC gamer has basically reigned supreme. That is not, horn tooting or pretentiousness. It is just the reality of the situation that we are now living in, the world we're now living in, because game companies have produced slop, like when we talked about Ubisoft at the beginning of this show, and Square Enix and all these other bloated, stupid companies with everything from DI to impractical business standards to games that are taking 150 gigabytes and still aren't as good as games that were out on the PS3 era of gaming. And so they're mad. How dare you? How dare you have the audacity to reject our consoles with your little gaming PCs, right? So AI is a convenient excuse. Oh, the AI, now we have to charge double, triple for SSDs, for RAM, right? So what happens? The price of computers becomes so unreasonable that to get a good gaming computer, you will no longer be able to afford it. Guess what?
Exactly.
Hi, buddy. We're PS5, and we've raised our price a couple $100, but guess what? We're still cheaper than the gaming PC now because we have forced an evolution through inflation of now what was affordable, because the big thing with gaming PCs is they're still more affordable than your console slop, and they give you a lot more freedom. But if you make that unattainable for the average guy, now they have no choice but to embrace the console slop that we have been rejecting for the past 5 or 6 years now. So now all of a sudden, now they can not only force you back into the console matrix, they can make you pay more for that console matrix, because everything is going to go up. And I'm
looking at the stats because, folks, GPUs are extremely expensive because they're used, ironically enough, for AI development when, they're supposed to be graphics processing units, not central processing units. I'm making the comparison here between the RTX 5060, which was released second quarter of this year, with the GTX 1080 Ti, which was released nearly a decade ago, right? And in terms of raw numbers, right, the RTX 5060, which is the lowest of the new generation, is the 37th best GPU on the market. The GTX 1080 Ti is the 48th best GPU in the market.
So you see, it's not even that much better.
It's not even that much better. I know the 5060 is supposed to be on the low end for entry level folks, but in terms of raw technology, right, the base level is there and has been there for nearly a decade.
I forgot who said. Somebody said a couple weeks ago, and I wish I could remember who it was. Someone like prominent in the games development said they really don't need to sell these high-tier cards. They're just doing it for the sake of doing it. They're forcing it for the sake of forcing it, and that is true. And by the way, here's the thing: you could make it these systems unattainable. You can make these PCs super expensive, and I will still just play games from 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago rather than engage with overpriced slop. So guess what, games industry? You have played yourself yet again.
Yeah, this is something that's actually what I think is going to happen to counter all of it. And it's going to come from indie studios. They're going to start creating just not those visual spectacles that they're trying to shove down our throat. They're going to consolidate and put out less demanding games, but with better content. And we're going to have a sort of a neo-retro era of gaming that is going to be indie driven as a whole. Take a look at Megabonk. Have you seen Megabonk's system requirements?
Yeah.
2 gigabytes of RAM. That's all it needs
Yeah.
to run. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a heavily played game. Hollow Knight Silksong, still a game that can be played on most older PCs and laptops.
Look at
It's not
Silksong. Silksong only requires 8 gigabyte of RAM. I mean,
and this is the recommended settings.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
8 gigabytes of RAM. It's they're not systematically demanding.
Yeah.
And what's
The
gonna
minimum
happen?
is 4 gig. The minimum is 4
People
gig.
are gonna get tired of this because
Yeah.
let's be absolutely real. If you're going to get 96 gigabytes of RAM,
Mhm.
you either are going to be playing 5 games at once while streaming to 7 different platforms, doing crypto and possibly making pancakes on your processor,
Yeah.
or you're just gonna be playing GTA 6.
The graphics, GeForce GTX 560 1 gigabytes. Silksong can run on it. That's
Yeah.
2025. in the game.
I played Silksong, like I played the older Hollow Knight on my old laptop.
What is
Like,
the point, honestly? In the higher new generation ones, I can understand, right? The 4090s and the 5090s, I can understand that because let's face it, folks, most GPUs are still run by NVIDIA. Let's just make that clear. But why on earth are they making 5050s? There's actually an RTX 5050 which has lower specs on almost every outlet compared to the GTX 1080 Ti, and the 5050 was released third quarter of 2025, so a very recent release. Why is this? This isn't commercially viable. Okay,
I can tell you
Because
exactly
it's
why.
new.
It's that, but also when you take a look at people who don't truly understand like the PC market and everything, and they'll just look at it as like, the 4080 that's fine, but there's the 5050 that should work just as good. It's because bigger number to them mean better performance.
It's newer. It's just new. It's the new iPhone, but it has the same specs. But it's the new iPhone. But it's not different. It's the new, like the new. That's
exactly what it is.
Yeah, that's the marketing. That's the marketing they're pushing. Like they're always pushing for the new, not the better.
The top 50 in the top 50 GPUs on the market, folks. The vast majority of them, of course, are NVIDIA, and then second are the AMDs, right? But I cannot believe it has been nearly 8 years since its release, and the GTX 1080 Ti is still in the top 50, okay? The only ones below it are the RTX 3080 for the laptop and the AMD RX 6700 XT, and I'm using user benchmark as a source for that, folks. Hardware from nearly a decade ago still has the potential to be in the top 50 best GPUs on the market. What the hell are we doing?
Well, the thing is that it's due to like driver optimization and stuff like that a lot of games required. That's basically the improvement. You have newer drivers that detect the newer system, that it's not necessarily better, but it's just newer, and that's what gives you that availability, because a game is going to be catered towards that as well. It's basically a circle. That's why let's say you can have RTX on, let's say, a 1070. It's not that it's not strong enough, it just doesn't have it as an availability, It can have it potentially if it was implemented in its core. It does have the opportunity, the power to do it, but it's not going to have it because RTX is for the 1080T or even higher. It's not for the 1070. You're a pleb. You're a commoner if you have a 1070.
I think Nvidia's greatest mistake was going into the RTX, folks. I personally think that was their greatest mistake. I mean, the company's done incredibly well financially, riding on the AI wave, but I am very hopeful that it is a bubble that's going to burst, because for humanity's sake, we cannot let AI take off as a $1 trillion industry. because it will cut off the middleman. And what is the middleman? Humanity. So I hope this bubble does burst. Look, the dot-com bubble, it did burst. We still have an internet, and it was great for a while. So hopefully the AI bubble bursts, which will buy us the time we need for regulators to catch up so that this can be properly regulated. AI development needs to be as regulated, at least as regulated as nuclear weapons technology, at least, because it is that damaging.
Sadly, I don't think that's going to happen, by the way. That's because there's too much marketing opportunity on AI. If AI presented a bit of a tangible threat, like a physical threat at the moment, it would be regulated, but it's not.
Well, the bubble bursting will cause one hell of an effect, and that's why we should encourage that bubble to burst, because it will cause economic shock waves, and it will show the market that AI development, if it is embraced as it was during the AI bubble, then it will lead to the same results. It is so big that it has to fail. A lot of these situations have one thing in common: they get so big they have to fail rather.
See, Grok is aiming to replace you, Digny. This is the digital cartoon gentleman created by Grok in wireframe. He's plotting.
How long did it take you to do that? How long did it take you to do that?
Literally a half second. I just pasted Digny in there and said wireframe.
Yeah, half a second.
All of that wire came from Auschwitz. It came from Treblinka. It came from Bergen-Belsen. It came from Dachau. It came from
your personal collection.
Okay, for the sake of
it used to be pennies. It used to be
for the sake of humanity, the AI bubble has to burst, because if this continues, we won't have a games industry. We won't have a tech industry. It'll all be swallowed up by AI development. All of it.
Mm-hmm.
Sadly, and we have talked about this before, we don't have a specific AI topic for today, but again, AI is too profitable for the people on top. When you cut out workers, when you cut out and when you can make fast profit with zero cost, we already have worker robots making their own copies for the next generation to be shipped. We have China having the catwalk robot that they actually cut through the artificial skin of the robot to showcase that it's a robot because it was catwalking like a real human. You have an army of robots already, like humanoid robots in a warehouse in China. That was a video. You have so much development happening in days instead of years, cutting down 99% of the time that it would normally take for a technology like that to be developed, that it is scary. By next week, we are going to be in a very new reality that we are just now, and it's going to be because the advancements are so fast. You remember our 3-week streak with AI topics. Those were week apart, and it was progressively worse and worse and worse in terms of how fast it is developing. And this is a stackable development because it's going to be rolling faster and faster and faster. It's going to be a boulder. And again, Digny, you're right. If it's not regulated, if the bubble doesn't burst, this boulder is going to wipe everything very soon.
Well, I'll tell you this, Helzo, just to balance off this topic, because we are getting to the end of today's show. From what I've heard, ladies and gentlemen, on the grapevine, and Nvidia's stocks have been going up and up and up. But you see this everywhere. You cannot have consistent runs of stocks and shares going up without there being a tumble, right? Everything has its time to shine. Everything fades away. You can't put trillions into an industry without it damaging every industry around it. And that's what will cause the bubble to burst. Not because people don't see the profit in it. Everyone can see the profit in AI development. I think what's going to cause the bubble to burst is that in an attempt to force AI and robotics and automation everywhere, it's going to try and bleed dry every industry it purports to support, and that will be its downfall. And the games industry will be the first victim of that. It's like, we're going to use AI and we're going to have massive profits, but we need all your CPUs and GPUs, so we're not going to double the price, not triple, quadruple. Your GameCube's going to cost $3,000, right? If it's 6 times more powerful than a base Steam Deck, it will cost $2,100 on release, just through pure mathematics.
Well, you know what? If there's anything that wants to cause you to lose even more faith in what's going on, just remember that if Nvidia's stock is up, that means Nancy Pelosi just made more money in a day than I've made my entire life. She could afford a GameCube, by the way. The rest of us, it's let them eat cake.
Yep.
That is not a dig at Roger.
That is
well, that's what we're having to look forward to, and that's what's hopefully doesn't happen.
Well, you better start, folks. Support the AI bubble bursting
By super
only
chatting
way-
on the stream.
Yes, by giving us money. No.
Oh boy.
No. But yeah, 3 days ago, $2.7 trillion erased from the U.S. stock market. Most of it from AI companies.
How do you erase money? Okay, not gonna take it to that.
Because
I need someone. I need something.
Because everyone started
Connection.
selling. People saw the bubble
Damn.
was there and they capitalized and they started selling. That's how stocks work. You want a stock price to increase, you buy. You want it to decrease, sell. People, stocks and shares people store, peak AI bubble. So they sell. And that's how 2.7 trillion is wiped off the stock market.
That's also how you protect yourself. When you erase money, that's how you defeat a Jewish vampire. You erase their money.
Yes. But thankfully, folks, for more on what Jose is talking about, check out the Witcher 3 Blood and Wine DLC and replace blood with money. But on that note, ladies and gentlemen, we're past the 2-hour mark. We did have a 5th topic lined up, but I can use that for Wednesday. Future plans: 2 hours, 3 minutes, 50 seconds. Roger, future plans.
Future plans. Tonight going to be streaming over on the Rustic Rollers channel. We're going to be continuing on with the Faerun online campaign that my buddy and friend of the network, Nomi S-Wins, or Nomi Swins as he likes to call himself, which I don't, is DMing. And we're finally getting done with the tournament arc that seems that we've been on for like the last 3 months. So finally can't wait to continue on with that game.
Good. Well, we appreciate you for being here, Roger, and hopefully none of the higher vampires will feast on your blood. You don't want that to happen. Okay.
Well, I wouldn't hold your breath to that, considering the fact that we do have, I'm not even joking, a dismembered vampire head as a companion in our
So you can set the terms. No vampires, so this is what you get.
Oh my goodness.
Dismembered vampire head, also known as a member of U.S. Congress.
We also have to make it clear for all the viewers watching and listening. The reason why America doesn't have a vampire problem is because half of the vampires died of AIDS and the other half died of diabetes.
You're not wrong.
So on that note, Jose, what are your future plans?
Well, tonight I'll be on the Cancelous Podcast channel on Rumble, probably doing a little bit of gaming, a little bit of Dragon Quest X and Final Fantasy 14, as it is MMO Monday. Then Tuesday, tomorrow, I believe you will be joining John for his 3 hours hate of Candace Owens, also known as Happy Hour, the most ironic name ever created. That's at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thursday night is Thanksgiving, but I may be there for a special Cancel This podcast. Not sure what the status of my other co-host is going to be at 11:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's because it is my birthday. So shout out, look, anyone who want to come in and drop those donations, feel free to do so to help me keep the lights on and bills paid on my birthday. I will be there on a turkey hangover. If I can convince John to show up, he will be drinking in place of me. He'll be taking birthday shots in place of me because I don't drink, and John's pain is everybody's pleasure, except when he brings up Bonnie Blue on screen in the middle of a podcast.
Which is censored.
That was funny, folks. And folks, I'll put on my Jewish clothes if you donate to Jose. And I will make increasingly pro-Jewish statements about Dave Rubin and Mark Levin.
Oh yeah, thanks to you, X is asking me to follow Mark Levin right now, as a matter of fact.
And he's also going to kiss the wall.
What's Mark Levin's finishing move against Nick Fuentes? It's the 69.
Oh, no.
It's not the 619. It is literally the 69.
Oh, no.
Standing up. But Elzo, what are your future plans?
Well, I would probably finally be diving into some game development courses starting tomorrow if everything goes well, because that's something that I want to pursue. Other than that, videos and streams are on. I would be trying to do some retro streams during the weekend, Silk Song in the weekend. One thing that it's something that we've been working with my band for the last several years, and even more before I joined the band, is that we're getting out our first album after 30 years on stage. We'll be getting it probably by the end of November, and it's going to be great. And that's something that it's a big weight off, because I spent the entirety of last week designing album covers and stuff. It's not good when you're trying to do this without almost no experience, guys. It's learning, designing, and stuff like that. It's not that good, but it's fun when you get the hang of it. Yeah, but it's when you get a hang of it, it's fun, and you're starting to feel like a master of your own reality. So that's pretty much all that I have lined up: streams, music, and probably game development. On that note, Digny, what are your plans apart from what Jace told us?
Well, I'll be making more network videos from network shows. We're going to take a slower pace because November has been a fantastic month, so we're going to slow down. And we're also going to slow down during December because the year is ending, and we got to see how well the channel does with minimum content at minimum capacity, so we can compare minimum to maximum. As for the next network show, of course, tomorrow, 3 hours of hating a black woman, which will be great for our straight white male audience. I have a soft spot for Candace Owens, not because she's right, but because she's popular. And yeah, the French government apparently want to assassinate her now. Another reason to hate France. But the next network show on YouTube will be, of course, the second episode of Digny's System Crash. The first episode was wonderful. It blew everything compared to it out of the water. And I look forward to another fantastic episode as well. When you can nearly double the viewership compared to your predecessor, who had a channel 10 times the size, you know you're doing well, folks. You just know. So that should be a hint for everyone. And as for me, I'm going to relax for the rest of today, and it's going to be smooth sailing until the new year. So thank you very much for having me, Helzo. Thank you, Jose and Roger, for being on. And of course, Black Lives Matter. We love Israel.
And last but not least, thank you to Clippy for all those beautiful donations. Thank you very much. This is amazing. Always
don't charge us back. No chargebacks. No refunds.
Please no. Please don't. I have no money. Thank you very much, folks. Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for the panel. Thank you very much to the chat. We'll see you guys next week. If we're still here. Cheers and stay fresh.
Bye.
Take care, everyone.
Take it easy, everybody.